like, I love it. Give me more.
Like, let them have tack. Let them do whatever. I mean, I want to see an absolute battle. And if they're all allowed to do it, I mean, shoot, there's only one rule. There's no rules. That's what I want to see.
A ton of unwritten rules
exactly
in baseball. All right, so and I don't dislike that. My thing is so Matt Strom. This isn't my take on this, but Matt Strom, who is the what
Jimmy? He said the internet is pooping out.
Oh no!
Again.
Well,
Bad internet.
Bad boy. Well, grab the app, bro, and listen to us there. Just go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store, type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I can't see it on this side, so I really can't go around and fix it at this point in time. I'll try to look during the break. Matt Strom had said, well, so they're able to not only, make the barrel of the bat bigger, which, again, not against the rules, I'm okay with it. Since it's not okay, it's not against the rules, I'm okay with it. But what are we gonna, change the diameter of the rim in basketball to make it bigger, to make 3-point shots more prevalent? Like, we do everything for the offense. And like Matt Strom said, not only do you have the bigger barrels now with the torpedo bats, not like it's caught fire and everyone's using it.
It's still within the purview of.
It's still within regulation.
Right.
It really is.
But the barrel is still big. At the end of the day,
listen. The
barrel's still bigger.
No,
the
it's
MLB
not.
committee. It's just
bigger.
disproportionate. It's just disproportionate.
Okay, all right. So let me get technical with your law self here. Like the sweet spot area is bigger now. On those particular torpedo bats, the sweet spot area is almost twice the size. Now, I'm not saying that is what I'm getting at, though. The whole point of this isn't necessarily about the torpedo bats. It's what Matt Strom is sitting here saying, where pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, so not only do they have that aspect, but then they get to put Pine Tar. Like, what if you take Pine Tar away from them? From the offense? You
would have dangerous situations where bats are flying out of people's hands.
But like what you brought up with the spider tack, right? Like, why can't pitchers have something to give them a little bit of... Have you ever touched a Major League Baseball that hasn't been mudded up yet? And even when they're mudded up, they're slick, they're smooth. And so pitchers should have that same type of advantage, though.
I don't know. I feel like the MLB committee really just sat around a table like we're doing right now, and they were like, wow, every ballpark stadium in the nation has made their food fat as can be. Let's just make the bats fat, too. That's literally how this conversation had to go down.
Let me posit another scenario to you, okay?
Deposit money in my account before you keep on positing stuff over here.
These bats were used last year.
And
Cody Bellinger, and no one gave a rip, right? And then the Yankees come out against the Brewers, and they hit 9 home runs in 13 innings or whatever it was.
Well, 9 home runs was in 9 innings.
Right, but I'm just saying,
there was 15 home runs over 3 games,
there you
I
go.
believe.
That's the number I'm looking for. If the Yankees don't do that, we don't care.
We don't talk about 100%.
We don't care.
People only want to hate whenever it's someone they don't like or anything like that. But I bet you if A&M came out and was like, we're going to use torpedo about
I would say they should be banned from college baseball.
Correct. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. So there you go. There you have it. I don't have anything else to say. Good night.
Here's the entire crux of the argument. They don't help you make contact. You still have to make contact with the ball, or from the bat to the ball. So it's not going to help you do that. You still have to make the contact. Now it's just giving the hitter an ability to swing and hit a pitch that maybe they were struggling with, right? I see no difference in that and what golfers have done in terms of, well, we've strengthened the sweet spot on these drivers, and now you can take a driver and you can take a screwdriver that's specially made for that driver, and you can tweak it to your specific swing, right?
And now
there's no difference in that in baseball and the torpedo bat to me.
It's just like reverse. If you're going to argue it that bad, and I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying if someone is going to argue it that way, it's just like the argument about shaving the bats. I mean,
like corking them?
Yeah, people.
Shaving for metal bats and stuff. Yeah,
it's just the shaving of the bat, because they have those rules, and even down to just local co-ed softball tournaments and stuff. I mean, it's a big thing. It's the same argument essentially.
But that's illegal. shaving the bats is.
Right. Torpedo bats are not illegal, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, but
No, it's just
Get off your
reversed.
soapbox,
It's
Dave.
reversed.
let me sit on it every now and again. Like every now and then. It's not like I sit here and just complain about stuff.
Quite a bit.
You're hating.
Yeah.
You're hating
You're a
on
hater.
me and AG's fun.
The Rain Cloud just called me a hater. This is asinine. I don't even know what to think right now. And I do agree with you guys. Like when it comes to the overall realm of things, like if it's better for the game, yes, I'm 100% in agreement. Anything that is better for the game, I like that. But I will also say that I actually I hated the pitch clock at first. I've come to love it though.
I love it.
When you're sitting there watching a game,
You know what? Save this pitch clock comment from me specifically for 520 because I can add that to a terrible pitching gimmick.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes.
We will be talking about Texas A&M and Kentucky. No doubt about that. And you were there at the series, so that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. But I've grown accustomed to that. The rules I hate. Disengagements, the fact that you can only get 2 disengagements on the
Ghost
third.
runner.
I hate the ghost runner. I hate things that just make things more easy, especially in a game that's
when it doesn't
complicated
need to
and just way over the top easier, like the torpedo bat. You're 1,000% on the money. It's not going to help you hit the ball better. It's really not. It gives you more room for
error. It gives you more room for error.
But it also gives you more opportunity to find the sweet spot, right? It does give you that, but it does not help you hit the ball. If your hand-eye coordination is not top notch, you're not that's one of the hardest things in sports outside of hitting a still small white golf ball.
If you can hit the baseball in fair territory 3 times out of 10, you're a legend.
Right, 100%.
Yes.
And do that. These days, it's like, shoot, get over the daggone Mendoza line, hit 200, and you're. We were talking about this. The Braves, what'd you say? They
3
have
guys on the
three
team
guys.
over the Mendoza line.
The Mendoza line is 200, ladies and gentlemen. The Braves as a team are hitting like 133,
137.
137.
Yeah, bad.
Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. You listen to the Atlanta Braves right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Hey, Jeff Simpson, LSU Jeff says David is not a hater, not saying he is a lover. Okay. Well.
Oh, and Carla's here. Hi, Carla.
Hey.
There we go.
Yeah,
Buy me custom cookies and treats, guys.
Hi, Mo. Hopefully the internet is doing better for those watching on YouTube. LSU Jeff, thank you so much for chiming in and kind of somewhat having my back right there. Oh, Morgan shaking your head a little bit. Well, I guess because you're wearing pink and not orange this afternoon.
That means I can be sassy because I'm not in the wrong color.
There you go.
Sassy, what's your second question?
Okay, so my second question for you is so the NFL officially announced that they were going to use Sony's Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah, we talked.
The Hawkeye. What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Chain gang?
Thank you. With the
yeah.
with the chain gang. Bleh, that was a lot to get out there. As the secondary, and I know we talked about this right around Super Bowl time. How do we feel now, AG? Do we still have the same stance? What do we think?
I think if the technology is there for them to use, then use it. Right? It's the same thing I have with the robot umpires in the challenge system in baseball. If it's there to use and it's going to improve the game, then absolutely use it. Do I think there should be robot umpires and that's the only thing we use? Absolutely not.
Not across any daggone sport.
As quick as that replay was for the challenge system, I don't think it hurts the game.
You're talking about for the robo umpires, yes.
Yeah, for the challenge
I can
system.
get down with
Now,
that. The way that they do that, I can get down with that. This one, continue on.
Now, for me, as far as the chain gang goes, there's still human error that's involved, and there's still human error involved in not just the chain gang, but also with the referees and where they spot the ball. How many times have we watched in the last few years just this? Like, where's that spot, buddy?
They
Where are you
used this
going
in the
with it?
preseason, by the way, though. They used the Hawkeye stuff in the preseason. It almost felt like there were some plays that took longer than, like, the human chain gang.
Yeah, but we get more football, right? I think everybody's okay with more football.
They did.
That's
I
not
did look
more
into
football.
this for
Just
you.
because it takes longer because of the referees does not. That's
still
like
more
college football sitting there saying, "Oh, we're going to cut down on the time of games, and here's you another 20 minutes of commercials."
Now, if
Right.
Mo, if they had given me the choice of saying, do we want the Hawkeye for this kind of situation, or do we want to be able to, take a face mask penalty that wasn't called and use replay to call that penalty after the fact, I'm all for that. Get it right on the field. Just make it fair for both teams. So if it's an either-or situation, I'd rather have the latter than the former.
I did look it up. It is supposed to be 8 position cameras who all have a different, not only point of view, but they're all scanning for something else as well, and they will be able to tell in real time. The only thing I'm mostly excited about, like, the biggest thing for me is the 4th and 1. Is 4th and 1, we're watching the Eagles and you're watching an executed tush push. I really want to see how accurate it is for spotting the ball in scenarios like these. That is what
where they're covered up.
Where they're all they're all covered up. It's really hard to lay eyes on it. I will be very, very interested to see how this plays out in that specific scenarios exactly like that.
How accurate can it
how
actually
accurate
be?
Is it really going to be when you've got 20 huge dudes all just right there on top of it? And then think about another, when they're on 4th and 1 in an end zone or a red zone scenario, and
do you cross the goal line?
Yeah.
Do you cross?
When did he actually officially cross, and where was he down at if a knee was down or an elbow or whatever? Yes. How are you going to spot it if they're running it up the middle right there? How are you going to know? That is what I want to see.
Caveman Rick chiming in and says, yo, brotherly shove with the asterisk instead of the tush push, which that rule will be tabled to next year, which I think is the right call. Until
it should be off the table.
Until it's a health issue.
They shouldn't even have to worry about it. Just let the play go.
Okay, all right.
Beat it if you can. If you can't, sorry about your luck.
They're only mad about it, just like we said about people being mad at the Yankees. They're only mad about it because they can't stop it. You can't stop this play. I'm going to run it 45 times and shove it down your throat. That's literally why people are upset.
100% agree. And I will also say this. When everyone was the outcry over the Yankees, it was like the Yankees aren't even the only team. It's not like it's a Yankees thing. I mean, an MIT physicist came up with this whole ordeal and people decided to use it. So unless it's going against the rules, I'm okay with it. I don't like it. I don't think it's the most pure thing, but it is what it is. I'll my life will continue to move on. Great takes there. 4 questions for Fano. We got to 2. That's like a normal Afternoon Underdogs type of an afternoon. You guys
I would like to visit question 2 though. I think that's a good one.
As long as she doesn't care, we'll do that. But let's let her get to her rant, though.
Okay.
So that is what we're going to kick off the 520 segment with. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and we are going to hear Morgan drinking a little haterade on this fine Wednesday afternoon. Barbie's Rick coming up next on ESPN Northwest Florida.
The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, some clouds and slight fog, and a low of 70 with a moderate breeze out of the south-southeast at 13 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, a mixture of some clouds and slight fog with temps around 75. In the afternoon and evening, partly cloudy and a temperature near 78. Moving into Friday, about the same with a high of 79 and partly sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage, $1,748 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
He's so old, he buys his clothes at the same store he buys his groceries.
Are you wearing a grocery bag?
I talk sports in my underwear. I'm gonna wear nothing but a thong and a top hat.
Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on? You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Morgan wants you guys to call her, 850-215-6290. And then she wants you to also send in pictures of their mustaches, right? Like, we're still doing that? No? Okay, all right. Well, it is rant time from Morgan Hilliard. We've got James Fife, Adam Goff. I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. And I've been waiting on this rant for, I don't know, 5-6 hours. So go ahead.
Try a month, dude.
This rant?
I don't just a month. Like, maybe we haven't heard her rant at all in like a month.
Nah, there was. I think when you were over there at Steinbrenner Field, actually, she had a little rant going on.
Well,
yeah.
I haven't had it in a month. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Enough.
Well, I hope you're prepared. Put on your seatbelts, whatever, because I have a lot to say. So I
Not
wasn't
getting pulled over today, baby.
I got back to town Sunday. I was in College Station for 10 straight days, which allowed me to go to a midweek game, go to the Friday game and the Saturday game of the Kentucky series. Had a great time, had fantastic seats. Right behind home plate on one of them. The other one, I was right over A&M dugout. So, I mean, the view was incredible. It was wonderful. I should have brought a beer bat with me. What?
Which, what? Oh, what? Okay, I didn't know we were trying to get into an argument.
Go ahead.
What seats did you like better? Like, be it like perspective-wise, home plate or over there by the dugout?
Honestly, being on third base line right over the dugout is elite for watching pitches. For perspective, being behind home plate is very fun because you can see everything. I mean, not like you can't see everything, but it's just the better bird's eye view. But if you're watching pitches and you're watching like how it's coming down the track, literally right over the dugout was my favorite seat. I'm not gonna lie, it was my favorite.
I've always liked first base or third base line. I'm never sit right behind the plate or like, you know, in that vicinity or whatever.
3 rows up from their dugout. And then behind home plate, I was on the very first row behind like the box
So if we
seats.
were to watch the replay...
You'll see me on Friday for sure. I'm right there because some of my family members text me and they're like, we see you. And I was like,
I got to go check
Were you
that
in
out.
coveralls?
No, I had
overalls.
I had a
You had a Shove Day shirt on or
Prager
something
Shove
like that,
Day
yeah.
shirt for Friday that
Shout
I
out
had
Pookie.
made, and then on Saturday I had a shirt that I also had made that said Caden Kent, known baseball hater. That guy hates baseballs when he gets a piece of them. But speaking of Pookie and Ryan Prager, I saw this Tuesday and I thought this was really interesting. But then I saw it even more with Prager on Friday. It took a second to catch on, but Kentucky. They picked up on Ryan Prager so quickly. They were able to catch everything. And it's because, I mean, everyone kind of tips their pitches some way, but the way he was doing it was very inconspicuous. And the way they caught it to me was very interesting. But he was just using his back foot, the toe. It was just the toe. And this made me so mad to no end because, like, I'm all the way in College Station. It's probably the only time I'm ever going to get to see Ryan Prager play in maroon and white. And you're over here selling. Why? Why do we always sell? Why do we do this? Why do we have to sell everything? It made me extremely angry because this is probably the only game I'll get to see of you at A&M, and you're going to ruin it. Be so serious. He's kind of on my, like, poop list right now. He's on my bad list. Like, I'm kind of upset with him. He's supposed to be my Pookie.
Pookie, come on! You're in an argument, right? You're like you're in the doghouse and you don't even know it.
Yeah, like you're supposed to be my guy, and you're over here selling. Like, why would you do this to me? I'm your number one fan, and I'm not dead yet, so I'm still your fan. But like, why?
What you're saying about Ryan Prager?
If Ryan Prager has a million fans, I am a fan. If he has one fan, it's me. If he has no fans, I am dead. So, yeah, literally, like, I love him so much. Also, when I was sitting behind home plate, for you listeners in Port St. Joe, if you know a Mr. McCoy, father to James McCoy for Kentucky, he's kind of like a utility player. He pitches and he does outfield. And then they even brought him in to play first base, I believe.
Oh, wow.
But if you know a Mr. McCoy over there in PSJ, please let him know that I had the best time meeting him. super nice guy, sat next to us, and he was
Small
like,
world.
I know, right? From Port St. Joe, and his son's playing at Kentucky. He traveled all the way to College Station to see him play. And then I was at the game, but when I was watching the game Sunday, I was like, oh my God, he's from Port St. Joe. That's insane to me. I didn't even
so you didn't even know when you were having the conversation with the guy that he's from PSJ.
I didn't even know until until I saw his son on TV, and you get the breakdown of like the player.
Yeah.
So Mr. McCoy, it was great to meet you, and your son's really good at baseball. Fantastic stand-up guy. So if you guys, any of y'all know him, please let him know that I only have good things to say about him and his son. And his son did really well each time he was brought into the game as a reliever, anywhere they put him. So
not only would he be pitching, but he's also playing the field as well.
Yes.
So he's a Shohei Ohtani.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or a Jack Tani.
Or a Jack Caglione. Thug mentioned in my rant. But anyways,
I picked him to win Rookie of the Year just because you call him a thug.
So anyways, speaking of Kentucky, though, getting onto that, they have the worst gimmick. I cannot tell you, yes, I'm a fan of 5-hour baseball games. Let it go as long as possible. Sure, take away the pitch clock, whatever.
5 hours is a long time, Morgan.
I'm so good with just sitting on the couch and just watching. I'm fine with that. But anyways, Kentucky's gimmick is so terrible. You can't gimmick a gimmick, but somehow they did it. So you've got their third base coach, and him and Michael Early are going at it. I'm going to circle back to that. But
Michael Early being the coach of Texas A&M.
What led to this is literally Friday and Saturday, they will intentionally stop a run, which I get it. You're playing defensively. Okay, they'll stop a hot streak or whatever. What they'll do is the catcher will go to the mound. So it's just like a players meeting at the mound only. Everyone comes in. And then within the last 3 seconds, then their pitching coach will come out. They'll extend it again. And now it's a visit to the mound. And then they're going to, now at the last 3 seconds of this visit, they're going to bring in a reliever. And it's just on and on. And the
annoying.
delay of game is so dumb. You already know what you're doing. You're inconveniencing not only your players, but you're inconveniencing the fans. And if you're a Kentucky fan, I'm sorry, but it's kind of insufferable and I can't deal with your fan base.
I have a question, Miss Teacher.
I'm not a big fan of their fan base either.
I'm just not a fan of that.
Well, you said fan base. You're just not a fan of.
I'm just not a fan of the way they acted.
You're not calling out all of Kentucky fans, right?
I'm just not of the.
But you like 5-hour baseball games.
If they're being played, I don't want to sit there and watch you guys be dumb and it's so intentional, it's impossible to not
So
spot.
for those that aren't aware, right, Sunday's game, there was an issue.
Yeah,
right?
I can elaborate.
Yeah, go ahead.
So because they had done this Friday and Saturday, when we got to Sunday, it was so overdone. It's overplayed. Everyone's tired of this, right? Especially, obviously,
Not the Kentucky fans.
Michael Early. So what made Early so mad, though, is if you're a casual and you don't know what this is, but sometimes between teams, there is a travel time if you are traveling that far. And that means that there's essentially a curfew of how many innings or how far can go. And
4:30. 4:30 is the time, right?
No new inning can be started after 4:30.
Yeah, exactly.
So because they do this horrible gimmick, they kept playing on this to push the 8th inning out so it would go past 4:30 so they couldn't start a 9th. Kentucky was going to win anyways. They were up by 5 runs. Our bats weren't hot enough. They knew they were going to win, but they just kept doing this because you can't stop it. I'm going to keep doing it. What I just said about the tush push. But you already knew you were going to win. There's only 1 inning left to be played. Why are you going to act this way? So their third base coach, I can't say his last name. I don't even know how to.
I'm not sure what it is.
It's Mingione. I don't know how to say it. Don't even quote me.
No.
Yes.
The third base coach is very impressive.
Right.
Thanks. So. I can't say the name, but I know him.
It's okay. You've done enough.
But anyway,
You've done your job.
So they're going at it, and Early had a lot to say about this, but it's literally because they do this terrible, horrible pitching gimmick of how they they did on Saturday. It was so bad. It was 4 hours and 45 minutes, I believe, the game Saturday, and it's because they kept doing this. They literally didn't stop, and if they didn't want one reliever, not even 2 batters later, they pulled at A&M and they'd bring in another reliever, and it starts the cycle all over again. So you've got your 20-minute player mound meeting, then you've got your pitching mound meeting, and now you're going to bring in your reliever. All just the same awful, terrible gimmick. Overplayed, overtired. Kentucky, if you can hear me, especially your coaching staff, do better.
Well, but let me ask you this. You've multiple times today said that you love 5-hour baseball games.
Yeah, if the game is being played. I don't want to sit there and watch you people talk.
Let's be honest. Have you ever watched a baseball game that was just pure baseball?
Yeah, all the time.
For 5 hours?
I went to 3 games last week. That's for the love of the game.
Yeah, but, okay.
That's...
How many of them lasted 5 hours?
Well, there's a pitch clock now, so they can't. But like when I was a little girl and I was growing up, one of my favorite memories is just sitting on the couch with my family and watching this extremely long game for no reason at all. And we're just sitting there chilling. Like, that's one of my favorite memories. And honestly, that's kind of what made me fall in love with baseball. You know, it is a romantic sport. And like I was saying in our like preseason, is you get to see all these players. You get much more exposure than you do with football as well. And it's easier to keep up with too. So
no doubt. I mean, I've always loved long baseball games. And like for me, there's the nostalgia factor of like watching with my papa, watching with my dad and all that stuff, but also playing the game. And it's like there was one sport, like I played every sport outside of soccer. I never played soccer, but I played every sport. But there was a different love. Like I was a baseball player. Like you know what I mean? Like I'd be sitting there playing football. Like I'm not worried about when I'm playing in football. I'm doing this because I need something to do. I need to play sports.
Everyone has the game that they're in love with and what they prioritize more. For some people, it's golf. For some people, it's
for James, it's hockey.
For some people, for Rick, it's his Eagles. You know, everyone has that one sport. But me,
it's definitely not his Flyers.
Me specifically, though. Baseball is mine, and I think it always will be. And even in high school, I would go to all of the games that I could make if they were home games or if they were playing at Rutherford and something. I would drive all the way out there just for the love of the game, man.
You know,
for the love of I mean, for some people, they're not willing to drive across town for that.
Haterade today.
But
that's not haterade.
That's
actually speaking.
Haterade.
From Arnold to Rutherford, I drive that every day.
But I lived by Bozeman. My senior year, I lived by Bozeman, went to Arnold every morning, and then would drive over.
Get him, Mo.
For the love of the game, man. I have one last A&M comment though, and I'm done.
Yeah. I have. But real quick though, like how am I hating? Not that I even care. But I'm saying, like when she said, I'm like, oh yeah.
She's telling a very important story about how she came to love the game of baseball, and you're just throwing shade.
No, Lord, no.
Let her love the game how she wants to love it.
You feel like I'm just throwing shade at you?
No, I don't think that.
Okay, all right.
I don't think that at all.
Ken, as Bryson Tiller would say, Penn Griffey Jr. My goodness gracious.
So, I have one final, and I'm so done on A&M. On Friday's show, I'm going to be fun. I promise.
Oh, you're going to be here Friday?
Yeah. On Friday's show, I'll be fun. I swear.
I'm excited about that.
So, you know, Maryland just poached our basketball coach, Buzz Williams. And for some people, they're kind of upset to see him go. Me personally, I feel indifferent towards it. I would like to see who we bring in next just because, you know, what's my best reference for this? Defense wins football games sometimes, right? Same way, like with March Madness, free throws can win basketball games. We saw this with Tennessee the other day. We saw this with Tennessee over the weekend. I mean, they were relentlessly getting the crap beat out of them, but they still stayed in it, and they stayed in it with their fouls and all that. But free throws specifically. So, but A&M can never shoot them. A&M can never shoot them. Why can't we do these simple little things? And we're terrible at threes. We hardly ever drain threes unless you're Wade Taylor the sixth, man. So you have all of these things, but
this is a
It's her team.
Oh, okay.
It's her team.
But all right, I'll keep my hating to my teams.
They took Buzz Williams, and I guess if it was going to happen, it couldn't happen at a better time because I mean he retained this roster. He's been with us for like I want to say around six years. He's retained this entire roster, and majority of our roster is seniors anyway, so all these guys are filtering out. So if you are going to filter out, now is the time to do it. Sure, whatever. On to greener pastures. Buzz, I wish you the best. But why my thing with this is I saw this in a tweet, and I couldn't find it again to reference who actually said it, but someone said A&M is always never in the forefront. We're always on the behind for coaches. And they couldn't have been more accurate.
Facts.
They couldn't have been more accurate at all.
Well, you're a football school, right? So I mean,
we're not even a football school. We continue to go 7-5 and 8-4. We lost to USC.
They're a yell school. That's what they are.
We lost to USC. Are you kidding me?
Supersonic there. But you are historically known as a football school, right?
That's where the 12th man comes from. So yeah.
They're an agricultural school.
The bag that gets thrown at the football program is more substantial than it would be for the basketball program, right?
Yes.
And if you're Buzz Williams and you have the success that you did have the last couple of seasons at Texas A&M,
which yes, did.
And you see what the SEC has laid out in front of you for the next few years, judging based on this past season, I think it's a smart move for him to go to the Big Ten, where it's a much easier conference. You have a much better chance to succeed because the Big Ten hasn't won a national title since 2000. It's been 25 years.
They don't have any representatives in
and
the
there's
Final
no
Four.
one in there this year. So
all I'm saying is if they can't figure out how to shoot free throws, they're still never going to win a title.
Well, Maryland is a historical program.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
And what was it? Kevin Willard. That's he's going to Villanova. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
And that makes sense too. I mean, Kevin Willard he's a Patino.
It's a step.
He's in the Patino tree.
Yeah.
He goes back to the Big East where he got his start at Seton Hall. So now the Big East has Rick Pitino, Richard Pitino,
Yeah,
and
Richard
Kevin
Pitino.
Willard.
Dude, how awesome is that?
Love it
the
for
fact that
Xavier.
we're going to have like at least a once a year, and we've had the matchup before, right, between Rick and Richard. But
we had
the
it
fact that,
just earlier. I mentioned it one time because
exactly.
people were chanting, "Who's your daddy?" at him.
Yeah. Hey, look, but now that's a stalwart. Like it's going to be happening until he retires. Which who knows?
And I love the
when
fact that
that'll be.
Louisville just took Xavier's best player from Richard Pitino.
Ooh, love that. Man, we got to get to a break. We have LSU Jeff on the line. LSU Jeff, I know that you're listening, ready to call in. We're going to be very brief because Morgan's still like. Also, can I give a round of applause? Like you did exactly what you said you was going to do. You came in here and you brought the fire and you ran it for 20 minutes and we love it, man. All of ESPN Northwest Florida, the Afternoon Underdogs, Morgan Hilliard, you are a treasure. You're right up with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick timeout. We'll get right back. Caller, question for Fano, and Morgan. We got a lot to get to, so hold on.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
They're not all lovey-dovey. How you see like in the NBA, everybody wants to be everybody's friend and dap them up and hug them and stuff. That there is a rivalry there. And that's what I want to see in sports. I want to see in sports where I want to destroy you. My competition, I don't want us to be friends. You're on the other side. You're wearing the other team's colors. I don't like you. I hate you, and I want to embarrass you.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage, $1,748 per month per 1,000 finance in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
Low post Brooms to the hole, dumps it right down the heart. Miles bounce pass behind the back. Broom three. Yes! Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, my goodness. This one's over. Remember Auburn. We're going to the Alamo. We're going to San Antonio. This is Andy Burcham, voice of the Tigers. Tune in Saturday at 4:30 for Auburn basketball in the Final Four.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Weekdays from 4 till 6. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. It's our final segment of the afternoon. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Adam Goff, also known as Fano, James Fife, and the Barbie. Morgan Hilliard in the building with us, who just went on a 20-minute rant. Very impressive rant as well. LSU Jeff, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What do you got?
Oh, hey, guys. Actually, I was calling about the Texas A&M Kentucky game.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay, for starters, let's just forget it was 10-5. Let's forget the score.
Also, it was a 5-run game.
Yeah, they were going to win anyway.
You said 7. I said 4. And I was thinking, like, one swing of the bat, I feel like you should be playing that game out if one swing of the bat. But 5 is a grand slam plus a solo home run. So, all right, sorry, LSU Jeff, continue on.
Let's forget that. Let's forget it, okay? Let's forget all biases, whether we're A&M fan or whatever, okay?
I'm in the building.
It was bull. it was bull. The Kentucky way that they were doing it, I felt like it should have been the umpire's discretion to, like, just give that guy a base. I mean, it was ridiculous the way they were stretching out because of that stupid travel curfew that Texas A&M had to. They couldn't get another inning, the 9th inning, because of the time constraint, because it was a Sunday and they had to get back to class for Monday.
Kentucky knew what they were doing. They had full intentions and knew what they were doing on purpose.
And like 4:30 is our travel. Like,
yes,
we're
that's
talking
the
about
travel curfew.
At the end of the day. No, 100%. What I'm saying is we're at the end of the day. Yes, they're student athletes, but they're still grown men. Like 4:30 is a little early, right, to call something like that. Maybe make it 6:30. Start the games a little earlier?
I don't think it's like due to like the rest ability. I think it's due to NCAA restrictions on the schools and what they can and cannot do.
If I'm a future Kentucky opponent, SEC or otherwise,
you don't play Kentucky.
On getaway days, I'm scheduling the game at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, but like you're looking at this and you're watching it happen. You know, you're watching it in full time. You saw it Friday. You saw it Saturday. You're seeing this go down. And if I'm an opposing team and I'm coming up to play Kentucky, I'm already figuring out my strategy of how do I get around this horrible pitching gimmick. Yeah. How do I stop this
from happening? Start the game at 9:30.
11 a.m. even. Start firing pitches. I'm ready. First pitch, 11:03.
11:03.
First pitch, 11:03. You can do your invocation, not a prayer, by the way, but amen. And then you can do your national anthem. First pitch.
Imagine how you would have felt though if you had had your breakfast beer at 9:30 in front of the game.
I would have been prepared. I was ready to go.
We already know that. LSU Jeff, any more thoughts on that?
Well, okay. The Kentucky coach was so guilty. It was so obvious and everything. I mean, him yelling back after the Texas A&M coach was yelling towards him. Come on, Kentucky coach. I mean, you're busted.
Mingione,
I mean, obviously.
Whatever his name is.
And there should be a rule that basically says that you can't stall out a game like that. I mean, I'm not saying baseball's the most boring of sports. It's not the most exciting, and you're going to make it even more boring with this stupid shenanigans that they pull.
As a baseball lover, it is the most boring of sports.
If you want, like we're talking about, like, you know, growing the fandom and whatnot, if you want to grow the fandom and I'm a casual and I'm coming into baseball and I see this kind of gimmick happening.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, if I'm seeing this happening, I don't really want to watch this. If it's my first, you know, I'm getting introduced. If this is how all the games are going to go, because, you know, you're going to get your bias, everyone's going to get their first impression, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah. That's a phenomenal point right there. LSU Jeff, we're running short on time. Do you have anything else for us?
Where are we watching the Florida-Auburn game? Basketball.
Ooh, where you want to watch it at? That's Saturday evening. I don't really have any plans right now.
St. Andy's is a possibility.
Hold on, guys.
I'm sorry. A local restaurant.
Yeah, a local restaurant. How about we do this, LSU Jeff, and communicate with me on Facebook, and we'll figure out somewhere to kind of all
gather.
Yep.
I was looking for a fancy word, and that's fancy enough right there. LSU Jeff, thanks so much for the call, man. You are awesome as always, and I'm not going to say it. I was going to say go
Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
They'll say it for me. There we go. All right, LSU Jeff, we'll talk to you later, bud.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you, LSU Jeff. Thank you for seeing what I'm talking about specifically, you know, because that's
I don't think you're alone in this.
I don't think so either.
No, I think everyone. I feel like if you don't see it that way, like, it was very easy to say. And I didn't watch the game live. I watched the replay of it. We talked about it on the Inside Drive today, me and James. It's egregious.
It's just dumb, and it ruins it for other people. Like I was saying,
there's gamesmanship, and then there's crossing the line.
Bush League.
Exactly.
Bush League, correct. Which they're under Bush League, technically speaking, because it's gone. But anyways, all right, back to Morgan.
I want to have time to get to AG's question, so I'm going to make this really quick. So I got off work Monday, first day back in my office, you know, after my little vacation or whatever, and I got home and I saw something popping off in the burnerverse, and I was like, well, what's going on? I'm not even joking you. For the next 2 hours, I sat in a Twitter space just to get all the lore lore so I would be up to date. But there is a Tennessee Volunteer fan, a woman, by the way, and she was actually
pretty misogynist
she
of
was
you.
kind of funny. No, I'm being serious. It is a woman for sure, but she was kind of funny, and like I liked some of her takes, and like I interacted with her some, and I thought she was a nice person just from I knew from her on the timeline. Whatever, other people liked her. I've got no beef with the girl. You're allowed to like whoever you like. Anyways, so there's a South Carolina fan. His name is Gamecock Will. So I guess they had been sending messages. No, they'd been sending messages, and they took it from Twitter sphere to personal phones and text messages, and they were kind of like, trying to engage in a relationship. Whatever, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do.
South Carolina.
What
and
happened,
Tennessee?
though, is he started noticing discrepancies, like in her story and whatnot. And specifically, what really caught his eye is she had on a Tennessee shirt with the Block T logo, but he was like, oh my God, that T looks really weird, almost like the logo was overlaid onto whatever the shirt was. So him and some other South Carolina fans went full FBI, and I have to respect the game. You have to respect this kind of game,
Burniverse
man.
people love this
Oh
stuff,
my God,
huh?
this is what I love as well. Like, yeah, how
you're
did
a
you
Burniverser.
figure it out? So, like FBI type. So anyways, they're doing all this stuff, and they're figuring it out. They're noticing that like her images and stuff, like her images changed into like a completely different person almost. But here's like the absolute diabolical part. She would post photos like of her face. Well, what people thought was her, what she wanted people to think was her. She was taking a TikToker, a well-known TikToker. She was taking her image and her likeness, and she was taking that photo and AI generating it, and then also taking photos of her daughter, overlaying it on top of that AI, and then distorting it just a little more and passing it off as herself. And it comes to find out,
Takes a whole new meaning to name, image, and likeness.
Yes,
Catfishing, right.
NIL mentioned.
That's a FIL, face image and likeness.
She's taken this and like they also said that like a couple of people in their fandom had invited her to come hang out. They had free tickets to games. They would extend them to her because this was a well-liked person. I mean, 5,000 followers, like, to some people that's not a lot.
A well-liked profile.
A well-liked person amongst this fandom, amongst Tennessee fans. So like, they had offered her tickets, but she would always flake, never show up. She was
a well-liked profile, not a person, because the person was never.
Yeah, so come to find out, it's like this 45-year-old lady and this guy who, I don't know.
I mean, that's like a prime time in your life.
Yes,
45.
it's like this 45-year-old lady is catfishing this like 28-year-old dude. Yes, I had to sit in the lore for this one.
So have we seen an actual photo of this lady in question?
They think that they
Do we know
found
it's a lady?
her. It's for sure a lady.
I mean, if her daughter's fine, like there's got to be something there,
They
right?
they think they found her, but they're not 100% sure. They think they did, but they're not 100% sure. And then they were like, please, be respectful, because we don't know what this person's mental health
Only
is
in
like
the
if you're
SEC,
going to do
right?
this. Only in the SEC. It just means more. It just means more over here. Anyways, that's my Burniverse tidbit. I thought that was crazy and hilarious. And there you go, Vol Twitter, man.
Go Twitter! Woo! Yeah, that's wild, though. That's a wild story. So, yeah, watch out. Just because they like sports doesn't mean that they're a real person. So,
But however, if you
Morgan
find
is a
me,
real
if you
person,
find
ladies
me
and
on
gentlemen.
there, I am real.
Wait, but do you actually, is your Twitter profile, I don't even know who you are on Twitter, but you talk a lot about it. So
Exactly. Now I have like an AI image of like a Bratz doll, and she's like all done up. I have like an AI image of a Bratz
What's your
doll.
Twitter name?
Absolutely not on the air.
That's
But
right.
I don't want people from my real life finding the crazy things I say. But
Split personality. Let's work on some therapy here
listen,
real quick.
if people
But
knew
you
how
need this.
crazy I actually was, because there's things that you can say in certain realms and whatnot, and it's okay. But
Especially if it's not you, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
it's my alter ego.
Yeah, I mean, I've never gotten so off the handle that I'm out here shaming people. There's nothing I would look back on my Twitter and be like, wow, I need to delete that immediately. I don't post things like that, but
So you've never said I will, put this burrito up a certain part of my
and then let my
body?
wife catch me. Send this to
How's
my
your
wife.
red so looked up, right?
Yeah, I would never say I'm gonna, poop in a cup and then eat it or find.
Who was that one?
That
Florida
was
State.
That was the Florida State one.
State guy. Oh yeah,
that was the dog poop one. That's what it was. But I've never said anything like that where it could come back to haunt me.
Makes me want to throw up. A lot of it, actually. If I'm being, honest. I've got a question for AG. Are you done?
I'm done.
You
the
sure?
floor is now AG's.
Which situation do you think is better? Which situation would you prefer? The A's, who are playing in a minor league stadium over there for the Sacramento River Cats, and then you have the Rays, who are playing in Steinbrenner Stadium, which you've been to. Mm-hmm. I've been to that stadium as well. Which situation do you think is more preferable? Now, the A's know that they're going to be there for 3 years. They're going to Las Vegas. The Rays, however, it's this year, and then everything else is kind of up in the air.
And that's the reason I wanted to answer this question, because when you posted to me on the sheet here, I would rather be the A's, right? Because granted, you're only going to be there temporary, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to be going to Vegas with this, if you've seen the renderings, this phenomenal looking, stadium that they have there in Vegas. And I mean, it's Vegas. Like, if you've ever been to Vegas, Vegas is pretty awesome. And then on the other side, you've got the Rays, where they're playing in a stadium that they're going to be roasting in for the entirety of the summer. And then, are they going to fix the roof of the Trop? Are they going to get a new stadium? We don't know. Like, and if they leave Steinbrenner Field at the end of this year and they still don't have a place to go, where do we go, right? Like, we don't have a home. So that's got to be a little disconcerting too if you're the players. Now, obviously, if you're the players, you're more worried about what's going on the field, and the president and owner or whatever of the Rays are having to be worried about the venues moving forward. But I think if you're the A's, you're going, this is great, man. We don't have to deal with Oakland Coliseum anymore. We're playing in a minor league stadium with or without bathrooms. I'm not sure.
Without.
Or, and then we're moving on to bigger and better things in Vegas. So I think if you're the A's.
Do you think the players feel that way?
100%.
Yeah?
100%. If you had seen some of the images of in the videos of what the A's players were having to deal with in Oakland, yeah, they're probably much happier, even without bathrooms in their dugout.
I think that's of the utmost importance. Go ahead.
I think if I'm a Tampa Bay player, what would really bother me is that I like to know where I'm going to land. At the end of the day, you go to your house and that's what it is. Just like with your job, you know exactly what to expect when you get there. If I don't know where it is at the end of the day or what that looks like within the next year, that would really, really bother me.
Yeah, that's how I feel every time I'm on an airplane. I would like to know where I'm going to land.
Imagine if you're a player that has kids or whatever. Where am I taking my kids next year?
Yeah, what's my family doing?
100%. We'll talk more about that later. Morgan, as always, great to have you in here. James, you did such a great job all day today. Adam Goff, come on now. You're amazing. And then here I am. Jesus loves you, so do I. Y'all have a great evening. Be safe. Buckle up.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In depth